Hey everyone, this is Saul from Three Kingdoms Games, coming to you today with a game that I am surprised by how much I like it, and that's Dungeon Mayhem, a 2 to 4 player last man standing free-for-all by Wizards of the Coast. Now, the thing that I love about this game that makes it unique from a lot of these kind of knockdown drag-out games is A, every player has a unique deck. There are 4 unique characters in this. You have a Barbarian, a Paladin, a Rogue, and a Wizard. So right away, I see future expansions. Also, 10-minute playtime. So it scratches that itch of games like Munchkin without having to have an hour to 2 hours to sit and play. I'm going to set this up on the table and show you how it goes. The setup for Dungeon Mayhem is very simple. There are 4 different characters. Each have a unique deck. Each have their own kind of playstyle. You have a rogue who does a lot of knife throwing, steals stuff from people. There's some potion work. He disguises himself. The paladin, they do healing. They smash you in the face. And they have a lot of shields. That's most of what they do. You have the barbarian, draws cards, smashes other people's shields, and hits you really, really hard. And then you have the wizard. I'm going to put whoever plays the wizard in your game at a little bit of a disadvantage. This is probably one of the most overpowered decks I've seen in this set. But I'll explain why in a second. So each person takes their unique deck, shuffles it up. You'll have 2 cards which will have your face on the back of whatever your character is. Those are your reference card and your hit points. So your hit points, you go here, take a token, put it on the 10. Now, the reference card, so you understand the actions. In this game, your turn consists of you draw a card, and then you play a card and resolve whatever it says. Block cards, stay in play, block 1 damage for you. Draw cards, draw a card. Deal 1 damage, take extra actions, recover hit points. You cannot recover more than your 10 hit points. That is the most you can have in this game. And then at the bottom of your reference sheet will be your special actions you can take. So you start after you shuffle, set up your 2 cards. You draw an opening hand of 3 cards. And then you draw a card at the start of your turn. So let's say I'd start with Speed of Thought. Says I can play 2 extra actions. So this plays in front of me. I then go Evil Sneer. It would heal me, but I can't at this point. And it lets me play an additional action. So I still have 2 actions to play at that point. Lightning Bolt has 3 of those damage markers on it, so I deal 3 damage. We're just going to go 1, 2, 3 over here. And then for last action, Knowledge's Power says I draw 3 cards. Now, if I didn't have Knowledge's Power, I played something else, and my hand... So let's say I played Burning Hands instead, dealt 2 damage to someone. So 2 more points of damage, and now I'm out of cards in hand. If you ever complete the resolution of the action, so if it said draw cards, I'd draw a card at this point, but since I have nothing left in hand, I draw 2 additional cards. That's the basics of the gameplay. Anything with a shield stays out, everything else goes to your discard after you play. Last man standing wins. Pretty straightforward. You play Dungeon Mayhem. Now, if you're eliminated first, sit there and ridicule the other players. It's what I do. It's what I recommend everyone does when you're playing this kind of game. It's sure it won't come back and haunt you later. Probably will, but take my advice on it. Probably going to work anyways. No? Okay. I'm now going to go over the special ability cards. So here we go. Now, I want to give you a little bit of a look at the individual actions each deck has, kind of in the order of that I would personally put them in. I love the D&D flavor this has. The abilities kind of work for the characters. So, Banishing Smite, which is one of the special powers of the Paladin, it will destroy all shields in play. So you play 1 card, blows up everything, including your own. So it's pretty much wipes the board of nonsense you don't want to deal with and lets you play an additional card. You then also have Divine Inspiration, which heals you 2, and you get to go through your discard pile, find a card you like, put it back in your hand. which if you chain this in the right way, I've seen people go from the finger wag of Judgment, which, yes, that's a paladin. You get to play extra cards by being very judgy. Feels like every D&D game I've ever been in. And you can then, get back another one, play this, chain off stuff. Gets kind of gross sometimes. Now, for the Barbarian, you have Mighty Toss. You discard someone's shield, and you draw a card. Pretty big. Makes sense, though, for the Barbarian. Whirling Axes. You heal 1 for each opponent. So that means, in this case, a 4-player game, you heal 1 for every opponent, and you deal 1 to every opponent. Battle Roar. So, discard all cards in hand. Everyone does this, and you get to play an additional action. That's pretty big, because let's say this is your last card in hand. Well, now I resolve it, draw into 3, go again. Potentially chain into again your multiple action effects, things like that, so you can get a really big hit in. So, Sneak Attack. Again, destroys a shield. This is the rogue, makes sense. You backstab, you got a nice little pretty flower, and when they're not looking, you slap in the head with something. And then you get to play another action. Clever Disguise. Really, I love the art on this card. The art of this game is fantastic. It's done by the same artist who did Vast. And I love the art of the game Vast. It's another dungeon crawler. So you can't be targeted. Your shield cards can't be targeted while this is out until your next turn. So huge. Pickpocket. Steal something out of someone else's deck and play it immediately. Again, pretty big in a format like this, especially considering most cards, well, all cards, you only have 2 of in your deck. So you steal it at the right moment, they have problems. So now we're going to get into the Wizard, who I said earlier, most broken deck in this game. And you'll understand why right now. First of all, Fireball deals 3 damage to everyone. Not too bad, just a big damage spell, including yourself, though, with that 3 damage. Charm. Yeah, so I play a card and I steal your blocker. That doesn't seem unfair in this kind of a format. And Vampiric Touch. In a knockdown, drag-out game like this, where it's last man standing, being able to switch your hit points with someone else is pretty big. This alone right away propelled this deck to being number 1 to me. In most of the games I've played, if the Wizard is left alone, they end up winning. But this is one of those great games where with those special abilities and things like that, which yes, the Paladin only has 2, but they have more healing in their deck than any other deck, so it kind of makes up for it. You have Politics, and that's what you want in a game like this. There you have it. That's Dungeon Mayhem, a 2 to 4 player knockdown drag-out game by Wizards of the Coast. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. You can also follow us on all major social media platforms. The links for those are in the description box down below. You can also keep up with our weekly blogs at threekingdomsgames.com. Thank you. See you next time.